I'd like to call to order the Schenectady City Caucus meeting for Monday, December 11th, 2023. We have one public hearing this evening. If the clerk would please read.
Public hearing number 1, amending the City of Schenectady Code, Section 234-1, to modify the annual income amount for the tax exemption.
We have 8 items for original consideration. If the clerk would please read item number 1.
Item number 1, under final consideration, a resolution approving the 2024 Downtown Special Assessment District budget.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 2.
Item number 2, for final consideration, a resolution approving the 2024 Upper Union Street Business Improvement District budget.
Discussed in committee without objection and on consent.
Item number 3, for original consideration, a resolution confirming the appointment of Thomas Bellick, William Neacham to the City of Schenectady Civilian Police Review Board and Victoria Cooper as standby alternate for William Neacham.
This item is being pulled and returned to committee at the request of the Director of Operations. Item number 4.
Item number 4, for original consideration, a resolution amending Resolution 2022-224 to modify the time period for Better Community Neighborhoods Incorporated to secure required financial commitments.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 5.
Item number 5, for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 463 Hewlett Street for $58,000.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 6.
Item number 6, for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 1507 Carey Street for $90,000.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 7.
Item number 7, for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the sale of 3323 McDonald Avenue for $60,000.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. Item number 8.
Item number 8, for original consideration, a resolution authorizing the settlement of a claim by Walter G. Fritz.
Discussed in committee without objection on consent. If there's nothing more to come before the City Caucus, I ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Williams, second by Mr. Mutaveran. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. I'd like to call to order the City Council meeting for Monday, December 11th, 2023. And I'd like to call on Reverend Koeneke for the prayer and invocation.
Lord, during this season of anticipation, expectation, and light, grant that we may be found ever prepared to bring your goodness to all those we encounter and serve. Keep our community in your care and protect all those especially traveling during the holidays ahead. Amen.
Amen. I'd ask Councilmember Patrick if she leads us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. If the clerk could please complete the roll call.
Mr. Mutaveran? Present. Mr. Toro? Present. Mr. Farley? Here. Mr. Williams? Present. Ms. Patrick? Here. Mr. Palomini? Here. Ms. Porterfield?
Here.
Thank you.
Thank you. We have one public hearing this evening. We've just reminded we've extended the public hearing portion to 4 minutes. Okay, public hearing number 1 is amending the City Code Section 234-1 to modify the annual income amount for the tax exemption. And I have no one signed up to speak, so I declare that public hearing closed. I ask for the approval of minutes for November 20th, December 11th, and December 7th. Moved by Ms. Patrick, second by Mr. Williams. All those in favor? Aye. I'd ask the clerk to read any communications and petitions.
Communications presented to City Council for Monday, December 11th, 2023. Under official, there were none. Under general, from Karen Schwind, a letter in favor of amending the City of Schenectady Code Section 234-1 for the annual income amount for the tax exemption. Under petitions, there were none.
Thank you. Ask council members for any committee reports. Any committee reports? Seeing none, this time we'll have privilege of the floor on the legislative agenda. Does anyone wish to speak on the legislative agenda? I have no one signed up to speak, So I declare the public comment on the legislative agenda closed. I ask for approval of the legislative agenda. Motion by Mr. Mutaverin, second by Mr. Farley. All those in favor? Aye. At this time, we'll entertain, I beg your pardon? At this time, I'll entertain privilege of the floor regarding general city business. I have 4 people signed up to speak. And just a reminder that your time limit will be 3 minutes for this portion, and you'll hear a timer go off when your time is up. First person signed up to speak is Jeannie Orr.
Good evening. I'm Jeannie Orr, Program Manager for Capital District Tobacco-Free Communities. At the last council meeting, my colleagues shared the results of the observations we conducted at 31 tobacco retailers in the city of Schenectady, located within 1,500 feet of one or more schools. As part of that report, we shared information about the violations of the state law that we observed. Specifically, 19 retailers were displaying one or more exterior tobacco ads, 16 were selling flavored e-cigarettes containing nicotine. Several of you expressed concern about these violations, so I thought it might be helpful to share what local enforcement of tobacco control laws currently looks like. In New York State, to legally sell tobacco and/or vape products, a retailer needs to have a cigarette and tobacco product retail license and/or a vapor products license from New York State Tax and Finance. Most counties, like Schenectady, conduct compliance checks on all licensed tobacco and vape retailers through their local Department of Health's ATUPA program. ATUPA is an acronym for the New York State Adolescent Tobacco Use Prevention Act. They aim to do 2 checks of each retailer every year, one to determine if they're conducting underage sales, and the other to evaluate compliance with all other state tobacco control laws. If an ATUPA officer observes a violation of any state law, in most circumstances, they will educate the retailer with the goal of achieving voluntary compliance. They can also issue a violation notice to the retailer to appear for independent hearing. If the violation is sustained either through a hearing or a stipulation, the TUPA program may impose an appropriate fine. They will also report the violation to New York State Tax and Finance, and if the retailer holds a lottery license, to New York Lottery, the 2 agencies with the authority to suspend or revoke licenses. These state agencies may take additional action of their own, but that doesn't mean that licenses are automatically suspended or revoked. The county ATUPA program does not have the direct authority to suspend or revoke a license, nor the authority to confiscate illegal products. In fact, the county ATUPA program can only take action on the tobacco and vape products that are on display. They don't even have the authority to look behind the counter or in back rooms or storage areas. Many municipalities across the state have decided they want more control over tobacco and vape retailers operating in their communities. They want to hold them more accountable when they violate the law, and they can. The most common way munis have done this is through local licensing, which they can impose on a wide variety of sanctions, above and beyond monetary fines for violations of federal, state, and local laws. In addition to empowering local officials to impose more meaningful consequences for violations, local licensing also provides a framework for municipality to strengthen and expand on what's in current law. For example, many municipalities have taken steps to place restrictions on where licensed retailers can be located, including whether or not they're near schools. They can place restrictions on the total number of licensed retailers in a specific geographic area or the proximity of tobacco retailers to one another. They can also place restrictions on the sale of menthol cigarettes and flavored cigars, cigarillos, and smokeless tobacco products that have particular appeal to youth. Now, local licensing isn't the only approach to reduce the impact of tobacco marketing and address health equity, but it has proven to be effective in communities where it's been in place for a while. I hope this has been helpful to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Claudia Kavanaugh.
Good evening. I'm Claudia Kavanaugh, President and CEO of Black Redneck LLC. My company is geared to Republican voter registration, but that's not why I'm here tonight. I'm here tonight because I'm not going to be around for a couple of weeks, and I wanted to say goodbye to Mr. Palomini. I'm so sorry that you are leaving the council. You're a steadying force, an intelligent force, And I also want to call you out, Mr. Farley. I know we're not supposed to talk to you, but I'm going to anyway. During the last finance meeting, you were making all kinds of statements and undercurrents about Mr. Palomini, saying it's unacceptable that he speak and support his position on his voting. If you want to know what's really unacceptable, the fact that you were able to bang the city taxpayers out of $500,000 without having to account for it at all. And if we had a DA who was on his game, you would have to account for where that money went or you'd be in jail. Mr. Palomini is a very accomplished person. He has probably forgotten things you'll never learn. And I think that if you really want to cut the budget a little bit more, Mr. Colden can stay in his office or go home at 5 o'clock because he's probably being paid overtime. Yeah, and he,
Okay, Ms.
doesn't
Kavanaugh.
add much to the.
Ms. Kavanaugh,
And-
no personal attacks.
Well, okay, I'm sorry, Miss Porterfield.
It's okay.
And for you to try to silence Mr. Palomini when he was trying to make a comment about the reason why he voted, that to me is unacceptable. And that's more like Venezuelan-style politics. We still have a constitution, and people have a right to support the reason why they're voting for a situation. And I really, Mr. Palomini, I wish you the best of luck. I know whatever you do, whatever direction you're going to go in, you're going to be wonderful. And if in the future you ever decide to jump the aisle, the Black Redneck Corporation will definitely support you in your efforts for whatever you want to do if you decide to run for office in the future. I'm sorry you're leaving, and I hope the new person that's coming on is going to stand up to the four situation setters that think that they're on top of the game. And for the finance director to approve a budget that starts out with a deficit is unbelievable to me. I don't think he went to the Wharton School of Business. Good luck, Mr. Palomini, and I'm sure our paths will cross again.
Thank you. Tom Kennedy?
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, City Council. I'm going to forego my usual pleasantries. Like my sister, Claudia Kavanaugh, I can't be here for the next meeting, and next council meeting. And I didn't want to miss the opportunity to recognize and thank Mr. Palomini for his service to the city, for his diligent work for the citizens who have needs. The other day, I was at the Bellevue Little League, and the paving there and what they did with the pavilion is going to reap benefits for the kids up there for years to come. And much of that is because of Mr. Palomini. Even beyond that, as the chair of the Republican Party, we're going to have odds as Democrats and Republicans and the Working Family Party. That's just the way things are. But it's refreshing when you have a politician and an elected leader who can set aside politics and deal with the issues. And we've always found that to be with Mr. Palomini. Before I leave, I just wanted to also send a message from our former mayor who couldn't be here, Mr. Jarzynski. He's down in New York City on business today. I told him I was going to come tonight and speak, and he said he wanted to remember Mr. Palomini's dad, who was very proud of his son. And Mr. Jarzynski recalls holidays speaking with Mr. Palomini Sr. And he was always very, very proud of his son and wished he could be here. He said he wished that he could be here to see how his son has served the city. So with that, we appreciate it. Again, the Republican Party appreciates Mr. Palmetti, and we wish him all the best in the future, and we hope we see him back here soon. Thank you.
Thank you. Rayshawn Artist.
Good evening. I'm Rayshawn Artist, lifelong Schenectady resident, homeowner, and business owner. I don't know, can I just hand you that? I'm not looking for you guys to read. Just look at the date of that article that I was in 2009. And I was in business 4 years before that. It took 4 years for me to get any traction going on our minority participation in the Schenectady contracts. We're at a lull. Nothing's happening. It started to move. I know Ron's in there now, but we're still in the same position. We're not getting the contracts. They're making all kinds of excuses to not use the minorities. And I've been coming down here on and off since 2005, asking, begging for you guys to do something about this. I see you out there when you come to my house and you want my vote. I met you on the job, Gary. I told you there was a problem, and it just goes on and on. There's no way it's even acceptable to have $1 million contracts and give a minority $10,000 of it. It just doesn't, the numbers don't work out. A lot of us are working in different towns, and I know you guys are doing like a budget, but I mean, it's kind of simple to me. We live here, we want to work here, we spend our money here. These other contractors take that money and go to their town. What benefit are we getting? Them buying a water at Stewart's? I pay my taxes here. I'm proud to be from Schenectady. And I think about it as this: if you have children, because I remember when I was in pre-K, you had the fireman's hat, the policeman's hat, the construction. If we as minorities, brown, black, whatever, if we don't see our kind doing the work, we don't believe it's obtainable to us. So when you want to start with people saying that, well, all they see is the drug dealer around the corner, well, let's start with seeing the people out there from their neighborhood with a job. That will give them the incentive that there's something else to do. It's not just look at the fancy car. Okay, he can do the same thing, but he goes to work every day, and he doesn't have to worry about the problems. It's a win-win, I feel. I just think we all need to do something about it, and I'm just getting tired of coming down here year after year saying the same thing about the same companies and nothing getting done. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no one else signed up to speak, so I declare the public comment of city business closed. Miscellaneous business of the council? Mr. Palomini?
So the last several years in particular, I've generally used this time of year to go over what we've accomplished during the year. So there. Forget that. I will really focus on the number of phone calls and text messages that I've received over the past few weeks. Very many. I want to thank all those individuals. They were very grateful to me, but the reality is none of that would have been accomplished without them. I look at some of the things that we've accomplished together with Steve and Ed at the Bellevue Little League, or Hillhurst Park, excuse me, where we've worked on that for 5-6 years, and it's come to fruition finally this year. Fairview Park as well. And there's more to come there. There still needs to be the bocce ball courts as well as the dog park at Hillhurst. Working with Ed and Rob at Bellevue Little League to make sure the kids have a safe place to play, and they really have a number of initiatives to help the kids. Steinman's Park, where we put up dog dispensers so that people can pick up after their dogs. And we have projects in the works that'll happen. The Veterans Memorial with Camille and Dave at Steinmetz. I look at some of the things that we've accomplished at the A Diamond, where the baseball field, with some others, we recognized that the dimensions weren't appropriate for collegiate tournaments, made sure that was fixed. Having proper bullpens in the scoreboard. Then we look at some of the things that we've accomplished in Woodlawn with some of the cleanups and accomplishments with some of the smaller parks within Woodlawn. Hamilton Hill, when we'd done several cleanups on Schenectady Street, when the lights were out on Schenectady Street, showed up the next day with the mayor's help, with Mr. Coluccio's help, the lights were turned back on. So these are just some of the small things that we've accomplished together, the public with myself. The Michigan Avenue field, which has been, quite frankly, it's one of the better youth baseball facilities in the area, including, probably around 50, 60 miles for sure. So all these things haven't been done. While I appreciate the nice words, they're not one person. They're working together with the individuals in our community. And that's an important aspect. Working with the various neighborhood associations. So we've got a lot accomplished. There's more to be done, and things will get done. We still, in Bellevue, for example, Hillhurst Park Pool needs to be either fixed or filled in and put with a splash pad. So those are things that we'll work on. But those were all together. And that's the key aspect, is different members of the community. Deidre and Frank, the elderly ladies in Hamilton Hill that needed help, those were working together. So that was, I think, some of the more important accomplishments in this particular year. As far as the other things that are happening, one thing I did want to comment on is with the school district, with the Yates School, with the fields, they should not sell those fields. Several years ago, the school district was approached. There were individuals ready to use the fields. To get them up to snuff, the school district had the money to be able to repair those facilities. And those could have been great things for those kids that are over there, particularly in the North Side Village. Giving them opportunities to have safe activities after school or in the summer. There were plenty of options to do. And the school district really is doing the wrong thing, in my opinion, with this move. So, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Patrick?
Earlier this evening, the mayor, council president Porterfield, Mr. Toro, and myself were all at the Zone 5, where several officers were promoted, as well as we had new recruits that received their guns and badges this evening, and their families were there. It was a very nice ceremony, and I just wanted to congratulate everyone that was involved with that tonight and wish them well, and I want them to hopefully stay safe. Also, this time of year, there's obviously many, many nonprofits in our community, as well as the school district, that are holding different kinds of events to either bring in food or bring in warm clothing, ringing bells at the markets, all this kind of stuff. So I just want to thank all the volunteers that are out there making sure that the holidays are going to try to be a little bit brighter for folks that don't have as much as those of us seated here. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Furley?
Thank you. I just wanted to echo some of what Ms. Patrick was talking about with the local nonprofits. These are the holiday seasons, and people always get together to give, and it's a beautiful thing. It's a great energy that's within our city around this time. I just want to caution everyone, as you're doing these things and as you're helping families, we live in kind of the information age, which really entails a lot of photographs and things like spreading across social media. I just want to just encourage everyone to be really mindful and try to, as we help families that are in need, to do it with a level of dignity, allowing them to maintain their dignity through the process, meaning that we should be able to, nonprofits take picture of the works that you're doing, not necessarily those who are directly impacted. There's a lot of stigma attached to some of these things, and we just want to be mindful of that, but I greatly appreciate all the work that's happening in the community. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor?
Thank you, Madam President. I can appreciate everyone who came out tonight. Had the opportunity, as Councilwoman Patrick pointed out, promote 2 sergeants, 2 lieutenants, and welcome 8 new patrol members who have graduated from the Zone 5 Academy, so that, again, police department is out there doing a great job and serving the community well. Also encourage people, as you're making some of your choices in the holiday season, remember the venues in Schenectady. If you're doing your shopping, going out for eating or entertaining, a lot of great offerings here within the community. Some have been around a long time, some are fairly new, but take advantage of them. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you. I'd like to thank everyone out for coming out tonight to come voice their opinion and to give their congratulations to their council member. And thank you, Ms. Orr, for coming to continually bring us this information. I also, as the mayor said, was at Zone 5 today, so it was great to see that. And everybody was, the old guy, they called him the old guy, was 32. Everybody was so young. So it was so nice to be able to have new police officers join our force. We've consistently talking about that we need to up the force. So today we saw 9 new officers join the force. So it's glad to be there. And also just want to wish everyone a happy holiday season and stay safe. If there's nothing further to come, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Moved by Mr. Farley, second by Mr. Mutaverin. All those in favor? Aye. We are adjourned. Have a good evening.